So let's begin and we can comment on that. Welcome back to day 2 of our weekend workshop, the George Online Weekend Workshop for the month of August 2020. And yesterday we had a significant opportunity for breakthrough beyond who we've been and how we live and what we've experienced. That beyond our personality there is for us to evolve beyond the personality. We can evolve our personality, if you want to say it like that, or we can evolve beyond our personality. That is available to us to undertake, And we were speaking about this yesterday, that human beings live oftentimes without even becoming conscious and aware of what we would call a personality, or trances, or self-limitations. We live unaware of recognizing how we contribute to our own insecurities in life. We don't realize it's us who, through our own misperceptions, promote insecurity. We don't realize that. And we don't realize it's us, through our own misperceptions, we promote our own powerlessness. And it's us, through our own misperceptions, we promote our own victim experiences. We don't realize that. We operate in a very or highly unconscious way, maintaining insecurity rather than security, promoting powerlessness rather than promoting adult power, and living as victims rather than as victors in our life, people who accomplish a higher quality of being and becoming, living and experiencing. So there is, for all human beings, the opportunity to claim spiritual power, to live spiritually empowered, and to claim personal power, to live personally empowered, and to live creatively empowered as we claim creative power. So these are the 3 power centers that we've been talking about: spiritual power, personal power, and creative power. That's what I am on the path of living more and more, and guiding others to live more and more, who are interested in and committed to these 3 power levels: spiritual, personal, and creative. And so yesterday we began to explore the personality, the part of us that operates and we are unaware of it, lost in it, and to bring it into observation, to bring it into awareness, to look at and observe. And so this is a process. And firstly, only secure people will undertake this process, because it is really disturbing the equilibrium of ourselves. But it is a good disturbance of the equilibrium within ourselves, because we do not want to remain in an equilibrium that is depriving ourselves. If we've got a setup in our personality that is withholding from ourselves spiritual power, the experience of security, okayness, if we have a setup in our personality that withholds from us the power to relate to ourselves, our bodies and our lives powerfully, then that's something we want to look at. And if there's a setup within us that keeps us from creative power, that keeps us from going beyond the reality that we are in to a higher quality being, becoming, living and experiencing, then that is something that I think you've got to look at, because it's robbing you of life, living. It's robbing you of experiencing. And not only does it rob you of loving and experiencing in this realm, but it continues beyond your transition, beyond your physical transition. So for me, This is the main work of spirituality, to go beyond what I call trances or satanic trances, these kind of aspects of us that are convinced of certain perceptions as true, but these are not true perceptions. They're not true. They are misperceptions, and they then cause for us, evidently, in our lives, disturbances, problematic realities, deprivations. So that's what we were looking at, and that's what some of you have come forward and begun to explore. What is my personality up to? So based on the comments that we had now just before we began, I would like to say a few things. One is, it takes courage to do this work. And yes, for me it's normal. Yes, for me it's my way of living. It's it's run of the mill. It's every day. But I respect that for you it might be something new or relatively new, and that you are undertaking this process which disturbs the equilibrium within you, which is essential to disturb that equilibrium within you. Then I have great respect for you. I have great respect that you are undertaking such a noble endeavor. I don't have to teach at the depth that I'm teaching at this particular point. I can teach at a very mild level that doesn't go to the core of the matters within us, but I would be failing you. And we've closed the groups for a while so as to give our group a opportunity to get stronger and without distractions of new students, and bringing them up to speed so that we could go deeper and prepare for a deeper experience of reality. So we speak of a shallow reality and a deeper reality. What is the experience, a shallow experience that we are having, but there is a deeper experience for us to have, that we are not really supporting the deeper experience. And how is it that we're supporting a shallow experience? That means neediness, insecurity is a shallow experience. And the deeper experience of security is real. And how can we support that? And that means being aware of the personality, being with the personality, accepting the personality, allowing it, appreciating it, and supporting ourselves to go beyond it, to be aware of it, and to be with it, to relate to it. The importance of relating with your personality self, not shunning it, not being lost in it, being aware of it, that it's there, and relating to it. So if we become aware that each and every one of us, all of us, actually have to some degree personality self that is entranced, it's entranced, it keeps us to some degree needy through its misperceptions, its belief in need, and it keeps us to some degree not relating to ourselves in a healthy way, or rather looking for a relief, safety and excitement. It keeps us harming ourselves in some way and keeping ourselves from benefiting ourselves in some way. That's the addict in us. And it keeps us deprived. It keeps us from going for God's good for us in this world and the world beyond. If we become aware that the point is to open up as much as we can to a natural way of living, to go beyond the fallen mind and the distortions of that fallen mind and live an unnatural life. If we recognize that we can live naturally, feeling secure, feeling okay, we can live powerfully, making good choices and decisions in support of our best interests. Quality of being, quality of interacting, quality of living, we can grow and develop and we can then receive high quality people, things and experiences in our lives to support us in the experience of fulfillment. So that's the three power centers. One is spiritual power, two is personal power, and three is creative power. And notice, you can't get to creative power if you don't have some degree of spiritual power and if you don't have some degree of personal power. You cannot get to you can't get to enjoying the highest qualities of being, becoming, living and experiencing in this world. You cannot get there if you're not into your spiritual power, which means non-neediness, free of need, free. Okay now. Nothing is needed. Experiencing, being supported. That is security. And from that level of security, we can then begin to work towards our being selfful, personal power. You'll only be able to relate to yourself, your body and your life, even your afterlife, only to the degree you feel secure. The insecure will never nurture themselves really and will never support a nourishing life experience. They won't be invested in their own good choices and decisions. They wouldn't value themselves and relate to themselves. They wouldn't care for themselves. See, so that caring for yourself is very important. Because if you don't care for yourself and you don't value yourself, your body, your life, you won't open up to experiences for yourself, your body, for your life, and even your afterlife. That is high quality. If you don't value your body, you won't want good for your body or have a vision for your body. If you don't value yourself, you won't have a vision for yourself. If you don't value your life, you won't have a vision for your life. You wouldn't want good for you, your body and your life, your afterlife, if you don't value, if you don't have a relating. To relate to yourself, your body and your life and your afterlife, it is essential that you be secure. So secure basically boils down to I am supported, I'm okay, I don't need to do anything to make me okay, I don't need to make me alive, I'm supported in being alive. That is one. And two, I am okay, innately worthy as I am. I don't need to earn my worth, you see. I don't need to cause myself to live, and I don't need to cause myself to have worth. That's security in a nutshell. So if we begin to recognize that, let's look at our relationship with God first, a power beyond this dimension, because of which this dimension is, that which is the cause of our being, our living, our experiencing. There is a cause, and that cause is unique and supreme, benevolent, beneficent. It is a truly all great and all gracious power. It is a sustaining power, incomprehensible. It is a supportive of our satisfaction power, incomparable. Incomparable. If we acknowledge our creative source and recognize we are creative beings, and we begin to have the experience of God relating to us, what the innate worth of God, the innate value of God, and God's relating to us. If we begin to have that level of awareness that there is the one beyond, because of which we are, that everything is, and everything that is because of God, is in the care of God. We all always are in the care of God. We all are, always in the care of God. We're okay. God has given us innate worth. This is the amount of caring God has for us. God is caring, considerate, compassionate, championing. God is the one cherishing, the caretaking. When we have this level of awareness, which is I call multidimensional level of awareness, it's beyond the personality. It's beyond the you that believes things and believes this world is real and denies a higher power and feels needy upon yourself to control and to manipulate. So we want to become more aware of the one beyond. We want to become aware, and we want to become aware of the relating to us of the one beyond. That we are because God is. We exist because of the true existence that is actual. Our existence is apparent, but God's existence is actual. God alone actually really is for me to focus on. Nothing else and nobody else is anything for me to focus on. God is for me to revere and respect. God is for me to respond to. So if we start developing this multidimensional aspect through a worship prayer protocol every day, you're slowly going beyond your ego. You're going beyond your personality self, the denying self, the unsurrendered self, the unsubmitted self, the part of you that thinks you know, that you really are and that you really know and what you know is really true, and believes a whole lot of things that is not really true. So the more we surrender, generally every day, we just surrender. We submit, we acknowledge the one beyond, and we acknowledge that one alone is to be revered and respected and responded to. Nothing in the world is anything for us to project power onto. And we surrender and feel strongly about that one, and how cared for and considered and how much compassion and championing there is of us, and we are championed and cherishing and the caretaking of God. So if you do this every day, you become more and more proficient at it, and you go more and more multidimensional, and you'll be easily more able to be with and attend to your personality. If you don't engage in worship prayer protocols every day, practices every day, you will remain identified with and as the personality self, believing what your misperceptions to be true and not realizing that they're misperceptions. So the first thing is, the more we develop spiritual power, the more we experience well-being, the more we can actually be aware of God and God's relating to us, that God is the one innately valuable, the one that really is relevant, and God's valuing of us, and experience being valued by God, experience being valued by God. Now we can experience being valued by God and appreciate God and appreciate God's valuing of us. Now this is human excellence. This is where you are beyond the ego self. Like, you're asking what's happening in the UK. All the churches are closing down, becoming restaurants and pubs and nightclubs and all that sort of thing. Where's the spirituality, you see? There's no real spirituality that was taught in those places anyway. That's why they failed to attract people. You understand? They were teaching dogmas and doctrinations and ideologies and all philosophies, but they weren't teaching truth. Because I believe that if you give the person truth, they will choose truth. A reasonable person, a person, the average person is reasonable, but in the absence of truth and where there is superstition and ignorance, the average person turns away and they get more and more lost. So people are just going more and more into their personalities, not realizing their personalities are misinformed, ill-informed. They don't realize that. So as we commit to a pragmatic supporting of security, okayness, the more okay we become, well, we are completely okay, the more okay we experience ourselves to be, the more we can then explore the personality self or the ego self or the aspects of us that think they know. I am really convinced of, and this is how I interact and this is what I create. So, first point, the more you support spiritual growth, the more you are in your spiritual power, non-neediness, the more ready you are to engage in a relationship with your personality self. Not in a judging, not in a rejecting, not in a criticizing, not in a shaming in any way, not in a resisting or reactive way, but in a way of I want to be aware. I want to be aware of what this part of me believes. I want to be aware of what this part of me is choosing. What conclusions has it made? I want to become aware of these aspects of me that are actually creating my reality unconsciously. They are operating so as to keep me insecure, powerless, and deprived. I want to become aware of them with an attitude of curiosity, being with these aspects that feel, emotional and turbulent. That's an indication that there is distortion. Feeling fearful, frustrated, angry, disappointed, in heavy kind of ways, reacting, these parts of us that are reacting to something and somebody in the world, or trying to, is disturbed or distracted by something or somebody in this world, trying in some way to protect itself from some perceived danger, or trying in some way to avoid something, or trying in some way to get something. We want to observe these parts of us that are in trances, and we want to be aware of them and with them. So the more you have a general spiritual practice of whether it's just easing up and feeling more secure and knowing that you're okay, bringing more of you into the moment, bringing more of your awareness into the moment, the more you go beyond your unconsciousness and your subconsciousness, the more you support conscious awareness, now you can actually become aware of the subconscious parts in you. These are subconscious. The trances are subconscious. They're there, but just under your level of awareness. They're operating, but you're unaware of their operations generally. You are living them out as yourself. You identify with them. You feel that you are them. When you say, I am angry, that is an identification with the trance, because that trance is not from that moment. It's from another time that you felt angry, and now you're feeling that same feeling again. Every time we're emotional, every time we're in a trance, every time we're reactive, we're not present. We are actually identified to a past aspect of us. We are actually identified to a part of us that is not in the now, a part of us that is personality and lost. And we can have, lots of these parts. So every time we feel strongly about somebody or something, anything that's happening in the world, anything that's going on in the world, or in our lives, or in our bodies, those feelings of reaction are not coming from that moment. And those are actually subconscious aspects of your personality, and you are maintaining them. The subconscious aspects of your personality, and you are maintaining them. And this is what we want to become aware of. So the more you have a spiritual discipline, a spiritual practice, bringing yourself into the now, and we go through the now into the beyond. The now is like a doorway beyond time and space. We go through the now, not just stay in the now, but go beyond the now, into the multidimensional. So we can then begin to be aware as we be with ourselves and explore with an attitude of curiosity. What am I feeling? What am I feeling? That's why I asked the question yesterday. So when this happens, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? In fact, that is not you feeling. That's a part of you. That's your personality feeling. It would be a better question for me to ask you, what is your personality feeling? Become aware of what your personality is feeling. Become aware of what your personality is thinking and believing. When you had that experience of insecurity, what did your personality think? What did your personality feel? What did your personality conclude? What did your personality decide? And those of you who are into the teaching for a while, you know that nothing in the outside world causes you to believe and feel and act and react. It's you that's causing that outside world to happen. We might think that because of that I felt this way, but you might not realize because you feel this way, that is what's happening. Cause and effect are reversed to the personality. See? So we begin to recognize that we have trances that we are perpetuating. We have beliefs and emotions and conclusions and choices and decisions that we've made. And these operate subconsciously. And they're creating our lives for us. And if we don't become aware of them, become conscious of the subconscious, they will continue to operate. And these trances will then, perpetuate not only themselves but the realities that reflect them. So it basically means more insecurity, more powerlessness, more deprivation, less feeling secure, okay, free, less experiencing, relating powerfully to yourself, your body, your life, less being creative and having enjoyable, satisfying and fulfilling experiences. And that's what we saw yesterday. See, that's what we became aware of. And so we can recognize, we can become aware that there's an aspect of us that is operating. And we want to become aware of that aspect of us. And we want to observe it and be with it. And this relating to ourselves is the beginning, of being, let's say it's the beginning of well-being, being selfful. Wellness, being selfful. Being selfful involves you starting with this kind of an approach. Being selfful is being progressive, means I admit that I am identified with my personality, aspects of me that are misperceiving, aspects of me that are misbelieving and thus misrelating and miscreating. You understand? So I am not living freely as an adult. I'm controlled by these energies of these trances. So as long as we're controlled by the energy of the trances, low frequency energy of these trances, we cannot really free ourselves from the control of the trance if we champion the trance. That's why we say truth. We champion truth, not trances. As we become aware of truth, the nature of reality, universal power and so on and so forth, that we're okay and everything is okay, that challenges the trances. As the trances are challenged, and we know that I am okay, I don't need to get to be worthy, I am worthy. I don't need to get to be alive, I am alive. Once you begin to see this and be aware of it, then you start challenging the trances instead of championing them, instead of living in them, controlled by them, not even aware that they are there. So it's important to be aware that there are these trances, to choose to be aware of them, to be with them, to relate to them, to establish this relationship of self-relating, exploration. And that's why I said to you yesterday that we use the sixth spiritual practice, which is invoking protection or invoking forgiveness, experiencing the compassion and mercy of God, having God protect you from the effects of your own trances, from the effects of, championing your own trances. If we begin to admit that I am in some way identified to ideas or beliefs, trances, if you admit it, that I keep myself insecure, I keep myself powerless, I keep myself deprived. It's not anybody or anything else. It's my identification with things that are not true, that I believe to be true, that perpetuate insecurity and feelings of insecurity and powerlessness and feelings of powerlessness and deprivation and feelings of deprivation. It's me. This is why we spoke also yesterday about invoking forgiveness, that before I go to bed every night, I say that if I am in some way, which I am, keeping myself from a greater level of security, I'm very sorry. If I'm keeping myself, which I am, keeping myself from a greater level of personal power, I'm very sorry. If I'm keeping myself from a greater level of creative power, I'm very sorry, which I am. And I invoke the protection of God to protect me from the experiences that my trances create in this world and beyond my death. I use the power that is available as a refuge from my own negativity and the effects of my own negativity, because we know there's cause and effect. Whatever you put out is what you get back. If I'm maintaining a low frequency energy, I'm going to receive a low frequency experience. So when we know that God is available to protect us from the effects of our own putting out, we can invoke that law of compassion, that law of forgiveness, the law of pardon, the law of protection from ourselves, that God is available with remorse, with regret, with honesty. This is being progressive, you see, being progressive. That's what we're talking about here. The approach to move forward in life beyond the trances that keep us insecure so that we can champion security, the trances that keep us powerless so that we can powerfully relate, championing powerfully relating, and the trances that keep us victims, so we'll go beyond it so that we can champion being creative and choosing for us God's good for us in this world and the world beyond, natural, satisfying and fulfilling living, higher quality of being and becoming, higher quality of interacting, higher quality of living and experiencing. We can get to that creative power if we have undone the major and minor trances. So, this is part of what we went through yesterday, and we've had some breakthrough experiences. So it's a good idea for us to support a transformation, a shift in consciousness. If you don't support becoming aware of your trances, and if you don't support speaking the truth, then you will not go beyond. If you don't accept the truth, if you champion the trances, not the truth, if you challenge truth instead of championing truth, that's not a good sign. And so oftentimes we live controlled by these energies, looking for safety, relief and excitement in the trances, the major trances, the minor trances, and that costs us. And that's why I told us about the Lion Park analogy, that if you stay in the car and you enjoy the trip to the Lion Park, you'll be fine. But if you jump out and you play with lion cubs, you're a dead person the moment you stepped out of the car. You just don't know it. So if we live our lives controlled by major and minor trances, sooner or later we're going to become victims. If you're promoting neediness, insecurity, if you're not promoting feeling secure that I need to do nothing to exist, I'm sustained in my existence, I need nothing to have worth, I'm given innate worth. If you don't champion feeling okay, worthy, if you're trying to feel good instead of actually feeling good now, if you don't accept there's every reason to feel good now, and you try to feel okay, that means you're insecure. And if you're insecure, if you're lost trying to feel okay, you actually then not going to be able to relate to yourself. You're actually not going to be able to relate to yourself. And you're going to be lost in powerless relations, abandoning relations with yourself, your body and your life. And then is a victim that you're going to end up being sooner or later. And you're going to think it's because of somebody else or because of something else. And you're going to be trying to change the world around you, the people around you. You're going to try and get a doctor to help you and save you, and because you don't want to be sick, and you don't want this, and you don't want that. You spend your life trying to control something or somebody, or control yourself, control your body, control your life, control other people or other people's lives. That's what victims do. They try to change other people because they feel bad for some reason, and they don't want to feel good, they just don't want to feel bad, so they want to change the world because they don't want to feel bad, but they don't want to feel good. I mean, if you really want to be, humane, sensible, you will choose to work on the way you feel, not change the world outside. So that is victims, you understand? And there's no judgment and looking down upon us for being beggars, addicts and victims. It's just the statement of truth, that this is what is. So if you embark to explore your personality with curiosity and begin to say, what does the personality believe? What does it feel? What is it up to? How is it trying to feel okay? How is it trying to not feel not okay? How is it trying to avoid feeling bad? How is it trying to feel good? And you start observing yourself, being more present to yourself. And as I said to you, the more present you become to God, the more present you'll become to yourself. That's why spiritual practice is so important. You become more and more aware of God, you become more and more aware of yourself. You can be aware of people, things and experiences in this world, including your personality self. You can observe what's going on rather than getting absorbed in what's going on. You can go beyond trances. You can be still and know God, and then you're operating multidimensionally, operating at a higher level. See, so have a commitment to explore. Whenever you feel emotional, whenever you feel deprived or needy or feeling unhappy, have a commitment to explore, that I choose to explore what my personality is up to. I want to be available to myself. I want to relate to myself. What is going on here? Why does, take an experience of deprivation and look at how am I contributing to this? How am I making sure that I'm unhappy? How am I making sure that I'm not happy? How am I making sure I'm not successful? How am I making sure that I fail? How am I making sure I am deprived? How am I making sure that I'm not fulfilled? How am I making sure that I don't progress? How do I make sure I don't prosper? Because it's me. I'm identified with some kind of personality that thinks it understands and knows, and it's up to something. There's a part of me that's got an agenda. There's a part of me that is, it's trying to in some way help itself. But we know we can't help ourselves. God helps us. We can support ourselves being helped, but we can't really help ourselves. We can't really do anything. So whenever we think I need to do this and I need to do that, and if I do this I'll be okay, I must avoid this, and living in fear, control. We want to observe that what is the trance I'm controlled by? What is an aspect of me up to? This is the sacred work. This is the work of doing our inner healing. This is the work of going beyond ourselves, going beyond control by satanic promptings, ideas that are not true, that we believe to be true. So that's what we began the process of yesterday, exploring our beliefs, our feelings. We even had, people sharing the feeling of being in situations and feeling unbearable to be in them. But they everyday situations, but we overreact to these situations. And so I've shared with you in the past the 3-step process. I'm reacting, I'm overreacting. This has no power, I'm projecting power. Begin to be with yourself and speak the truth. Mirror yourself to yourself, saying that this is a feeling of fear, this is a feeling of resistance, this is reaction, this is overreaction, this is me being against something. Just be aware and mirror it. Say it to yourself. Be with it, observe it. Be with it. The key is not to react. See the truth about yourself. Observe it. And then you can begin to observe what does it believe. And then you can challenge the belief. Is it really true? I am insignificant. I am unworthy. I am not loved. I don't deserve to be cared about. It's dangerous to be expressive. Rather not express yourself. Don't choose. Don't be free. It's wrong to be free. To be free means you are bad. It's better to be controlled. Whatever it is, the part of it, avoid this, you'll feel better. Don't go there. Something you won't cope with it. You won't handle it. This is so important. You need somebody's love. You need somebody's attention. You need somebody to behave in a certain way. You need things to be in a certain way. I told you have oxygen. Become aware you have oxygen. What you need, you already have in this moment. You already have the earth spinning on its axis. You have God guiding. The value of that cannot be overstated. Observe, I'm making something that's not really valuable, excessively valuable. It's not as valuable as I believe it is. I'm making too much of something. It's me overdoing it. I'm overdoing it in this situation. I'm overreacting. I'm blowing things out of proportion. Become aware. I'm overdoing it about my value being unworthy. I'm overdoing it about, it's dangerous, or I'm exaggerating. I'm in a trance. I'm reacting. I'm overreacting. Nothing has that level of power. This world is not that real. This world is not significant as the way I make it out to be. Experiences are not as special as I make them out to be. People, things and experiences are not as important as I make them. I'm overdoing it. I'm actually freaking out here. I'm in a trance. I am suggested to by satanic promptings. I'm controlled by fear. This is not rational. This is irrational. There's nothing in the world that has power. Nothing is anything for me to react to. And here I am overreacting to something, or the other. God alone is for me to revere and respond to. Nothing is anything for me to resist and react to. Nothing has any power. I told you yesterday, it's people. They created beings out of, organic chemicals, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. That's what the body is made out of. Flesh and bones. And sooner or later, that body that never was, that became, will not be again. So that person wasn't always here and won't always be here. That person is not really permanent. That person has no power. Am I making gods of people, things and experiences? Am I making idols? Am I keeping myself in a state of insanity? You understand? Am I causing myself to be, behaving badly, reactive, threatened? Am I in some kind of trance of that there's something to fear, something to react to? Am I denying there's only God, the source of wellness, the source of well-being, the source of wealth? There's only God, the good. There's only God, the benevolent, beneficent, and the benefactor. There is none other that is benevolent, beneficent, and benefactor. There is nothing definitely malevolent, maleficent, and benefactor. Am I in a trance in that moment, in that experience? I want to be aware of it. What is this personality believing that's not true? I want to attend to me and be. So start being with yourself while the personality is as it is. Let it be. Let it continue to be. Explore it with compassion. Have compassion. That's why we say God is the compassionate, the merciful. The compassion of God is upon us. Then you can have compassion of yourself upon you. Have compassion with yourself. What am I up to? What is this part of me unaware of? What is the lies that it believes? Why is it behaving so powerlessly, needily, desperately, when that is not the natural way of living? It's really in some kind of trance. Let me be with it. Let me attend to it. It's okay that it is. It's okay that it continues to be. Now I want to just be with it and see. So that's what we did yesterday. We asked questions, we paid attention, we got answers. Then we saw clearly, okay, what's going on here? This is typical. People who feel unworthy do not in any way champion their satisfaction, and they sabotage themselves and choose those people who are disturbed and distorted in some way energetically or problematic to be with, and live out a mediocre at best or depriving at worst experience. It's typical. We observe that we are our own creators of low self-esteem through our own beliefs. So what happens when you start seeing this part of you rather than living as this part of you? That's where the shift occurs. That's where the shift occurs. So you start off by championing the 7 spiritual practices, championing truth, using the protocols. It allows you to connect and relate to God and God's relating of you. It allows you to recognize the value of God so that you may recognize your own value. It allows you to recognize God's valuing of you so that you may be valuing of you and your body and your life. Once you have an awareness of God and God's relating to you, you can then begin to relate to yourself and be aware of the personality and its beliefs and its feelings, its choices and its decisions. And you can address them. You can attend to them and address them. And you can support going beyond. This is the shift that occurs from the child into the adult. This is the shift in awareness, that you create a space to go beyond who you've been rather than remaining identified with who you've been. And being aware of yourself, attending to yourself, being aware of what you're thinking, feeling, this part of you is thinking, feeling, believing, chosen decisions that it's made, and you begin to say, is this really true? It's so convinced of its unworthiness. It's so convinced of its control mechanism that it thinks that it can prevent itself from feeling unworthy. If I choose people who don't love me, who are unlovable, it's better. It protects me from the pain of being rejected. So if I have low expectations, I won't feel bad. I'll just carry on. So we become aware of these aspects, these satanic trances, and we be with them without judging them, and we mirror them, we reflect them, we have empathy with them, and we speak the truth. We record this part's story and reality, but then we validate what it's saying. We don't agree with what it's saying, but we say that this is what you believe, this is what you feel. And we let that part believe that, feel that, and choose what it chooses. We say, that's what you feel like choosing. That's okay, you be as you are. But I can tell you what the truth is. The truth is, you are worthy. You are created worthy. The truth is, you don't have to do anything to be okay. You are okay. The truth is that you are valuable, and your life is valuable, and your body is valuable. And the truth is, you can value yourself, your body, and your life. That's the truth. And the truth is, once you do that, you can open up to experiences for you, your body, your life, relationships. And there is God's good for you in this world and the world beyond. There is ideal experiences that already exist for you to claim multidimensionally. And that is your birthright. Once you step out of the child and you observe the child, you step out of the trance and you observe the trance. Once you begin to speak the truth, you champion truth. The truth is that I am worthy, I am okay, that I have value, my life has value, my experiences are valuable, my body has value. The experiences for my life is for me to claim high quality experiences, for me to dream and desire natural experiences, the best and highest quality of experiences for me, for my relationships. I am open to championing and supporting that high quality relationship. And then we can move to the next level, which we'll discuss in a subsequent workshop, of how to actually promote that reality, how to participate in the promotion of the reality you desire, rather than unconsciously participating in promoting what you're currently living. So there has to be this movement, awareness of the aspect, awareness of the aspects, ideas and feelings and beliefs and lies, its misperceptions, its erroneous choices and decisions, its sinning in a certain sense without judgment, and a correction that is not true. What is true? See, what is true? We are all loved while we are as we are. We are lovable while we are as we are. We are cared for right here, right now by God. And we can extend that caring to ourselves. We can be caring of ourselves. Our bodies are valued by God. We can have a valuing of that body. Scriptures tell us, don't eat of things that are, not permissible. Eat of the things that are wholesome and good. Don't be destructive to your body. So the scriptures are guiding us to relate to ourselves. Do not with your own hands destroy yourself. The scripture is saying, do not with your own hands destroy yourself. Don't harm your body. Go for God's good in this world and the world beyond. Invoke me and I will surely respond. Ask and you shall receive. The scripture is encouraging us, to ask for our desires, to support our fulfillment, the natural way of living, to act consistent with our natural way of living. But the personality, the trans self, the satanic prompting has got its own ideas and is taking us for a walk into the Kruger National Park, which is not a good idea. Sooner or later, there'll be a victim experience. If it hasn't already happened, it'll happen, because this is living unnatural. This is stepping out of the motor vehicle while you are in the Kruger National Park, wildlife park, where there's beasts that can tear you apart. Don't step out. So if we live with a commitment to security, a commitment to selffulness, and a commitment to satisfaction, we'll be fine. The thing is, there's aspects of us that have an unconscious, subconscious commitment to neediness, unconscious, subconscious commitment to powerlessness, unconscious, subconscious commitment to being a victim. And it's going to come sooner or later if it hasn't already. So at least we can speak the truth about aspects of us that are destructive, self-defeating, life-damaging, body-damaging, life-destructive. We can speak the truth. And we can have remorse Don't think, but I've got clothes and I've got a car and I've got money and I've got petrol in my tank and I'm okay because I won't suffer, because I'm not feeling deprived financially, I'm okay. We are depriving ourselves emotionally, we're depriving ourselves psychologically, we're depriving ourselves spiritually, we're depriving ourselves physically. You understand? Until you experience peace, progress, power, prosperity, paradise, you haven't succeeded. This is really about us operating and becoming humane beings, to live as humane beings. That's what we're talking about here. Experiencing being a humane being. So the more secure we are, the more present we are. The more present we are, the more we can explore aspects of ourselves are lost, literally lost in time and space, locked in problematic situations. And that's when we can speak the truth to ourselves about what is really true, beyond what we believe to be true. And as we speak that truth, we expand in consciousness. We become aware of what we went away of. And we can open up to live naturally. Caring for ourselves, caring for our bodies, caring for our lives becomes possible to us when we're secure. Having a focus on what can be for us in this world and the world beyond. Having a focus on higher quality beingnesses and living and experiencing enjoyable natural experiences for us that are beyond our current level become a potential that we can claim, a possibility that we can live. If you are not secure, you cannot operate in a way that is supportive of your personal growth and development, your body, yourself, your life, your afterlife. You won't dream. You will not have an aspiration, an inspiration, a enthusiasm, a passion for enjoyable and fulfilling life experiences. The insecure, look around you and see those that harm themselves, their bodies, and harm their lives, make bad choices and decisions and have no regard for themselves, no value for themselves, no value for their bodies and no value for their... Look at them and you'll see they're insecure. They don't know they're okay. They don't know everything is okay. They don't know there's only God to appreciate and value and the truth to accept. They don't know. Once you accept the truth that sets you free, you now can relate to you, your body, your life, your afterlife. You can now operate with a commitment to yourself, benefiting you, adding value to you, your life, your body, being of value and a contribution and a support. A contribution, a value, a benefit, a support. You can operate in a way that is enhancing of your being, enriching of your life. You can progress, you can prosper only when you are, in your spiritual power. You can't really set out to progress and prosper if you're not in your spiritual power. So if you are in your spiritual power, if you're secure, you can be more personally relating to yourself, your body and your life in an enhancing, benefiting, contributing, supporting way. You can show to you, you can be to you more available. And it starts off with being available to the parts of you that are astray, lost, locked in time and space, defeating, destructive, damaging. You've got to become aware of those parts and become attentive to those parts and relate to those parts. And when you attend to those trances and go beyond them, you are free to live in relating to yourself, your body, your life. And once you become progressive like that, that you're going for the trances and you're overcoming them, you're championing truth, and now having done that, you can actually support, you can have a good feeling towards yourself, a good feeling of valuing and caring towards yourself, your body, your life. Now, when you have that personal power, you can then go into creative power. You can look at inspiring alternative realities, enthusing alternative realities, passionate. You can become passionate about what can be and what you can live and experience. And that's your creative power. So I cannot, overstate. Sometimes people might feel I'm saying the same thing over and over again, which I do. And because it's relevant. It's always relevant that we want to ask ourselves, are we progressive? Are we establishing a relationship with aspects of us that are wounded, aspects of us that are in error, aspects of us that are lost, abandoned? Can we be with them so that they don't experience being abandoned anymore? The moment you become aware of them, you go beyond them. You just have to become aware of them. You don't even have to change them or control them or try to be different. You just be aware of them and you speak the truth about what they're feeling and thinking, and then you speak the truth about what is really true as an adult that you know. And then you start freeing yourself more and more of these trances of the belief in need, the major trances, and the minor trances, which is, I can't handle. I need to change it or control it. I need to stop it so to not feel bad. I need to not feel bad. I need to be pleased. I need to be satisfied right now. I have to be satisfied. I can't handle being dissatisfied. You understand? If you are aware of these trances and you challenge them and you champion the truth, it frees you. So you've got to become aware of the trance and challenge them by just speaking the truth about it's a misperception and what is really true. And you then go beyond a child personality, you go beyond your life being lived by an unconscious or subconscious aspect of you, and that's when you'll really realize, you know what? I don't know why, I feel so different. I'm more available, I'm more present. You know what? I can feel more about me. I can feel more allowance of me, acceptance of me, appreciation of me. I can be more valuing of me. You can feel that feeling. You know what? I don't know why, but I feel more present to my body, and I can be aware of my body, and I can allow my body and accept my body and appreciate my body. I can actually value my body. I want to care for me. I want to care for my body. And you know what? No matter what state I am in, or my body is in, or my life is in, I value my life, myself, my body. I allow my life to be the way it is. I'm not trying to change it and control it. I'm not against it being the way it is. I'm not against me being the way I am, my body being the way it is. I'm not against my life being the way it is. It is. I be with it. I allow it. I accept it. I can be with it. And I can observe it, and I can relate to it, and I can feel appreciation for myself, my body, my life. I can feel valuing for myself, my body, and my life. I can really feel valuing of myself, my body, and my life. Now you know that you have gone beyond being insecure. When you have accepted yourself allowingly, your body allowingly, and your life allowingly, and appreciating and valuing, and now you have a desire to care, relating to yourself. You're now caring for yourself, your body, your life. And now this is when you're going to move into creative power, which is, what can What can I be and become? What can I live and experience? What can my body be? I'm inspired for it to be. You can have a vision for yourself, a vision for your life, a vision for your body. And you'll happily support it. And whatever you support, God supports. Whatever the vision that you show God that's important to you, put your heart in, that's when the creative power takes over. That's when you start saying, I'm going to enjoy my life in this world and the world beyond. I'm into an enjoyable life in this world and the world beyond. And you just open up to it, and suddenly you'll notice things, coincidences, synchronicities, seemingly random experiences actually happening that move you to a higher quality of being, a higher quality of living. You're moving without you trying to control anything. You now have a vision of a natural relationship, what it is, and supporting it. A natural experience with money, abundance of resources, and including money or abundance of health, and enjoying being healthy and seeing the value of health, seeing the value of ideal people in your life, whether friends and spousal relationships or whatever it is, seeing who is the ideal, what is the ideal for me, what is natural, what is wholesome. You can start desiring that for yourself only when you come right with your relationship with yourself, your body and your life. When you start relating self-fully, then you can move into your satisfaction. If you don't support experiencing okayness, if you don't support experiencing ease, being pleased, if you're not into relating to yourself in a healthy way, supporting yourself, your body and your life, be naturally well, if that doesn't inspire you, you're not living as an adult, you're not living as a powerful adult, and you're not going to prosper in this world and the world beyond in a real, fulfilling way. I'm not saying people can't get a lot of money for manipulating it in, but you won't be fulfilled as you attract money to you. You won't attract money to you, you'll be doing to get, and you'll be living your life like continuing to live as a beggar, an addict and a victim. So this is really what we've been looking at practically yesterday and going deeper today in wellness, selffulness. Am I selfful? Am I selfful? Or am I self-abandoning, which means selfish or selfless? Am I really into self-interest, or am I into ego? You understand? Ego interest. What we're talking about is go beyond ego interest and ego regard. People who are only regarding themselves in an egoic way. Go into a genuine focusing on you, focus on you and the experience of enjoying, caring for yourself and your life and your afterlife as well.